Good morning and good evening, everyone. Just want to say hi to people who are joining us today. Real quick, a couple clerical things if you're joining us. Just give me a quick wave in the camera so I can see you, so I know you can hear us. And that way I know we've got everything working okay. If you don't have your camera on, I encourage you to please turn your camera on so we can see you. We like to interact. If you have inputted your name into the system, but maybe gave us a nickname, something like administrator or just a single name, please go ahead and change that. If you could update it to have your real name, your first and last name, so that way we know who you are. We're able to kind of interact with you a little bit better when we actually have your real name. So I'll remind you a couple times, if you could just input your real first and last name into the system so we know who you are, that would be very helpful. Also, if you've never joined in by Zoom before, it's a very easy platform. We like to see each other face to face, and we'll be able to kind of unmute you as you want to ask a question, and we'll be happy to have the interaction with you. But if you can't unmute yourself, or if you can't turn your camera on, you're welcome to use the chat feature and type in your question. That's a very easy way to communicate with us as well. So again, now that kind of clerical stuff is out of the way, I just want to say thank you guys for joining us. I'm Meredith Richardson. I'm the admissions manager for the business analytics program. I've worked with hopefully all of you through the application process, and we're very excited to have you join us for our webinar. This is really a conversation for you guys to ask us a lot of questions. So many of you have very similar questions, so it's kind of great to kind of hash them all out together. But first, before we start, I want to introduce you to some of the people here in this room, and one person online, if I could say hi to her too. We're going to start in the room here real quick with Kamlesh Mathur over here.
Hi, I'm Kamlesh Mathur. I'm a professor of operations, and I'm also the co-director of the program.
Good morning, I'm Matt Maloney. I'm the director of the business analytics program.
Brandon?
Hi, I'm Randall. I'm the current student of this business analytics program. I'm also the graduate assistant for this year.
Hi, I'm Yuja. I'm the current student and also the GA for the program.
And then Ms. Sharon, can you say hi too?
Hi, I'm Sharon Fay. I'm assisting with the analytics program.
Great, great. So like I said, this is really just a conversation for you guys to have with us, to ask your questions and concerns about the program. A lot of you are waiting patiently for a lot of different bits of information to come your way. Maybe you're interested in housing information or I-20 statuses. Maybe your concerns are more in line with employment opportunities or the daily life here at the student. So really, I just kind of want to see who wants to start first and ask your question. Just feel free to give a raise or even use the raise hand feature in the system. We're very happy to answer your question. Who wants to go? One of them might be one of the screens might be frozen. Anybody want to ask? Because remember, this is all for you guys, so we could be done. We could be done for the day. This was a great meeting. Just kidding. All right. I've Guangzhou. Guangzhou.
I can see.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead. Answer your question or ask your question.
Okay. Oh, okay. I see there are two programs: the 11 months program and the 16 months program. And I want to ask whether we can choose one of them, and when can we choose? Okay.
Yeah. So when you started your application, you already kind of pre-selected which term you want. And that's either a summer start date or a fall start date. The summer start date is an 11-month program. It starts in July. You'll graduate in May. That has an option to potentially add an internship in the summer and delay your graduation till August. So it makes it more of like a 14-month program. That's one option. Your second option is the fall start date, and that's a 1.5-year program. It's more like 16 months. So you have a fall, spring, and then a second fall term, and that's locked in and of itself. So you choose one or the other, and you really just determine it based upon how you applied. You would have selected the summer term or the fall term. If you have a different preference, say you signed up for summer but you prefer fall, let me know, send me an email, and I can easily change it in the system. But once it gets to, I think, at the end of this month, it's going to be locked in. So obviously we don't want you to say that you're going to start in the fall and then suddenly change your mind and come in the summer, and it's already July. That's too soon. So if you could tell me if you want to change your preference, it's in your application. You should be able to double check what you've already signed up for. But if you're not sure or want to change, just send me an email. The differences really are just the length of time that you'll be here. The program in and of itself is still the same amount of credit hours, still the same tuition, still the same benefits that you get as a student no matter what. You just either are going to stay approximately a year or approximately a year and a half. That's about it.
Okay. I just want to emphasize that Meredith said, the program is exactly same. You will take the same set of courses, but maybe in slightly different sequence.
Right.
So the curriculum's the same. From my perspective as a program director, for you looking at outcomes, whether it's internships or jobs, the 16-month may be more preferable because you have things spaced out and you have the summers off to focus on working and gaining work experience. So that's your decision, but if I were in your shoes, I may lean more towards that just because the way the program's structured, you'll have a nice gap in the summer where you can focus on your internship. When you're here in the 11 months, as you can ask some of our current students, the program goes really fast and there's a lot of work. When you have the summer off to focus on the internship, that's going to help you gain experience, which long-term is going to help you get a job. So if you're asking my opinion, I would probably lean more towards the 16 months. Both of our first two groups have gone through it, have done well with the 11 months, but depending on how you like to focus your studies and your time in that, the summers off really work out well for those of you who want to gain work experience in an internship before looking for full-time work.
Okay, thank you so much.
And thank you. All right, Shanshan, I know you had raised your hand.
Yeah.
What's your question?
I want to ask about the internship opportunities and what kind of help could the university provide for us, like summer internship?
Yeah, so the internships this year, we can talk more program level. There's a lot of good new stuff that's gone on, and we may ask Sharon to jump in as well. She's gotten extremely involved over the last 6 months or so with our program. But with internships, we start off first off by mentoring and getting you connected with industry in that way. So you will get to work with somebody from local companies such as Goodyear, Progressive Insurance. We've had people working with Marcus Thomas, Sapient Razorfish, just to name a few, but there's many more. You'll have one-on-one mentee-mentor relationship where you'll get to learn more about what that person does in their industry. So if they are in charge of analytics at Progressive Insurance, they'll take you there. You'll get to learn a little bit. You'll get some tours. You'll see more about what it's like on a day-to-day to work for a company like that. So that's the mentorship program, which I said that starts early on in the process with the program. We're looking to continue this next year as we did this year for the first time. Also, because of those relationships and the exposure our students get to the companies, many of the companies have signed on to do different internship programs. So the Cleveland Clinic, for instance, is one that is hiring 3 of our students for an internship this summer. We have other students who worked at companies like Dealer Tire, Park Place, locally, Marcus Thomas. So there's many companies are starting to gain exposure to the program, and the students and what they're capable of are starting to sign up for internships. We are getting more to the point where we'll have more opportunities for you. We're not guaranteeing internships for everybody, but right now, the program ends in May, and 50% of the students will be working as of May, either in full-time jobs or internships, and we expect that number to continue to climb.
Sharon, you want to add something about all the kind of industry outreach they're doing?
Sharon?
Look like
Sharon, can you hear us?
No.
Yeah.
She can't.
Oh. You can't hear us? Okay.
No, looks like. Rando, you have an internship with Cleveland Clinic this summer, right? Do you want to say something about that?
So basically, we have so many, like just Matt mentioned, that we have many internship programs connected with the industries like Cleveland Clinic and other local companies. So basically, I received the application, the invitation in early January. Yeah, January. So we sent our application during the spring break, and after the spring break, we did the interview. It's a very quick interview for us. We have only 15 applicants during the application, and finally, the Cleveland Clinic picked 3 of our students.
Sure. They of the group that they had looked at, they wanted to hire 6, but the other 3, they were looking at a different group. They weren't able to get things working as quickly. So next year there may be more opportunities. His specific opportunity is in business intelligence with the Cleveland Clinic. And from what you've probably read about the program, there's really 2 different paths with the business analytics program, really focused on either operations or marketing. So if you're looking more at marketing, there may be companies like Nielsen, Marcus Thomas, Sapient Razorfish. If you're looking at analytics in general, that really is across all different industries, but specifically we're starting to work. We have 2 students who have worked at Goodyear with different internships. The 3 that we mentioned with the Cleveland Clinic. One who started back when the program started, a domestic student who was working at Park Place Technologies, and he's already been hired full-time before graduation. So quite often, if you're able to be successful in the internships, it could lead to an opportunity of full-time work, depending on whether or not the company will provide an H-1B sponsorship.
Sharon, can you hear us now?
I can hear you now.
Yay.
Great.
I think
Sorry for that technical difficulty.
Yeah, I think the question was about internships. So like what kind of help we provide the students. So can you say something about all the events you are involved with kind of?
Yeah, I think one of the most exciting things about the program is that we expose students to mentors and people from industry throughout the program. And this serves as a really great springboard so that students can interact with the business community, the analytics community.
Yep.
Those are good.
I lost my audio.
We can still hear you.
So that students can interact with the business community, with people from industry, and really get to know them, and they can get to know you. And that is a great way to obtain internships.
Yeah, can I add too, just as we were kind of chatting before we started today, Rando just shared with us that, this past Friday, we had an event for our students involving mentors, and we did mock interviews, kind of in a speed dating round, which is cool. So each interviewer stayed put, and each interviewer was a company leader, like an industry leader in various companies in Northeast Ohio. And so our students kind of rotated from table to table, and they had about a 10-minute chance to have a quick mock interview. Well, at the end of it, Rando just shared with us, he said a couple people had asked about his availability, and that's an indicator, even though he wasn't technically interviewing for an official position, this is still a chance that our students got to stand in front of or sit in front of these industry leaders to kind of share with them realistic experiences and opportunities. And even though there was no real position, there could be one in the future. So now, our students have a chance to kind of have that mindset kind of embedded in those interviewers. So if something does come up, they can go, oh, you know what, I interviewed, I kind of helped a student over at Weatherhead. I think I'm going to give them a call and see if they want this position. So that's just one example that you could take advantage of it as easily as any other student in this program. So like what Sharon said, it's very much a springboard, and we have you involved throughout the whole year. Even if it was a mock interview, it's still an opportunity to present yourself, and it's a great one for our students to have.
And I'll just elaborate a little more. So last week, both Thursday and Friday, and I did not attend the events on Friday, students had 3 separate occasions to interact with industry in different levels and different engagement ways. So on Thursday, they presented projects they've been working on in class during an event where they did digital presentations with a video and then groups of, I believe, 3 or 4. And what this really helps, so when you're here at the program, 9 out of 10 companies will just go under the assumption that you have great technical skills because you're coming to Case Western and you're learning a lot of things that are focused on analytics. The things they really like to see is the softer side. So how do you present? How do you interact with companies? And a lot of feedback we got from Thursday's event is the students did a phenomenal job. So we set up, it was roughly about a 2-hour event where they went and we had groups of 3 or 4 from industry go and sit through presentations. So similar to what happened with Rondo, it sounds like on Friday, the company's asking about his availability. Companies got to see not only how you think technically, because a lot of the programming skills and some of the problem-solving skills the students learned were talked about throughout presentations, but also the softer side, the skills of presenting, how they put PowerPoints together, the videos, how they carried themselves, how they, and I got to participate as well, so I saw some of the questions. So when companies, after they were done presenting, asked them technical questions or why did you choose this route, they were able to come back and explain themselves. And this is really what a lot of companies are looking for from you guys. The technical skills, problem-solving skills you'll learn from the curriculum and our professors. It's those softer skills that you get chances to work on here. And it's really unique to have industry leaders be involved in this. And I think the feedback I heard from the group I participated in was extremely positive. And I was impressed seeing their presentation skills. I mean, I know what Kamlesh and some of the other teachers are going through during class, but I think to see them use these skills in presentation form was great. And then the next day, we went back to what we talked about earlier in the conversation, our industry connections, which is with the mentorship program. They had the opportunity, as we were mentioning with Meredith, and then the Industry Insider Series had other folks from Smuckers who were in charge of analytics come and talk. So we try to actually teach the students about different opportunities, not just marketing, not just operations, but how analytics is being used to give them more ideas of what they might want to do with their career.
And I think one more thing is that many of the industry leaders that we work with actually provide their data to the program. So students are working with data sets from these organizations, and the people who sponsor these data sets come back in to listen to what the students have done with those data sets, the findings. And so, that provides you with an opportunity to show, one-on-one what you've actually done analytically with their data, right? So, I mean, I think that is in a way a real live interview for you.
Excellent. Real quick, I just want to kind of make a pause in here. For those who are kind of in and out joining us, if you could make sure that you provide your first and last name for us when you log in. There should be a way where you can change or rename yourself. If you can make sure you give us your real first and last name, so it's something that we can read, perhaps in English characters would be helpful. I don't personally read Chinese. Yeah. I want to one day, but not right now. That would just help, so that way we know you by your real name, not a nickname or something else that we can't identify you with. So if you could edit that, that would be very helpful for us. These are excellent questions. I know the employment and internship opportunities are a hot topic. We obviously, I hope it's obvious, we have a lot of resources. We're happy to keep talking, but I also want to take a moment to see if anyone else has any other questions, not necessarily related to this topic, but if there's anything else about the program, or even Cleveland or the community here that you guys have questions about, I'd be happy to answer your questions.
Any hands?
Waiting to see. We already had the taker 1 and 2, so we got to see who's next.
I actually have some questions for Rongfen and Yulia. I guess, looking at you in the program, you were once where our prospects were, right? And how what made you come to the program, and I guess what pleasantly surprised you about the program?
So basically, the first influential factors for me to choose this program is that we have a really small class size, which is very good for the international student to focus on their program, because the faculties are very good and we have very strong resources putting on us. And I think Cleveland is a very good place to live, because we have very fair living expenses and we have good communities, and the environment here is very good. And we also believe that Cleveland is one of the, I would say, good cities to find jobs for the future. What about you?
Well, yeah, my reason is same as Randall's, because the small class size is a really good environment for us to focus on our study and then do some interactions with our professors or faculty. And yes, I do like Cleveland here because I think it's a good place to live and to play around, I think.
Because I came from the south parts of China, so I've never been to winter, with the snow in winter. So living in Cleveland is rather very fresh experience for me also. So that's partially my reason to choose Cleveland as well. Yeah.
And the snow hasn't been too bad this winter.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Excellent. I saw earlier, Liu, you had a question. Do you still have a question?
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
I want to ask whether we have the opportunity to do some part-time job, like being the teaching assistant.
Okay, so you're interested in knowing if there's like any assistantship work? Like as a grad assistant or a teaching assistant or something like that? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so yes, there are opportunities all around campus. Obviously, you know, we have Rando and Jenny here, which are two grad assistants who work with me in the admission office, who just help me with day-to-day emails and contacting students. But these are just two positions. There's hundreds and hundreds of positions all over campus. But an assistantship is kind of like finding a job. You might see some things posted, but really you kind of have to find them. Word of mouth is a good thing. For example, when I knew I needed VAs, I asked other people for advice on whom I should interview for the positions. And, you know, I asked Matt, for example, who he recommended, and some other people, and then I went off of those recommendations. But I may not know who exactly to seek for without seeking advice elsewhere. So you kind of want to make sure you're asking questions, going around talking to maybe faculty about if they need any research assistantships or any teaching assistantships. Lots of times, though, keep in mind, you're not going to really want to do any assistantships your first semester. In fact, I didn't even hire these two until the end of the first semester. One, I didn't need anyone earlier on, but two, I also know that students, when you first get here, your main priority should always be becoming comfortable with the curriculum, getting acclimated into the program and to the community, and focusing on your studies more importantly. So the last thing I want is to find a graduate assistant who can't balance all of those. So I'm gonna look for someone who's been doing this for a while. And usually that's why I don't hire anyone within the first few months. And don't be surprised if that's the case for you too. Lots of teaching assistant and research assistantship positions are actually reserved for second-year students, mostly because the teachers, that gives them time to learn who the students are in the program in the first semester or the first year before they ask someone to commit to that kind of position. But it's just like finding a job. You gotta find it, apply for it, interview for it, and still be right for it. And then I know that there are assistantships all over campus. So I may only hire a handful of students, and maybe Kamlesh has one or two teaching assistants, but there are tons of positions over at the medical school or the law school, and I do recommend too that you can find positions at other parts of the university. There's some admissions information that I actually can't have these guys do, so I have to hire graduate assistants who are in like the biology department or in the medical field or a physics major, someone else who's not affiliated with Weatherhead because they need to be unbiased. So there's a lot of different reasons for the way that assistantships and students are chosen for those positions. But all in all, I would say not anything you need to worry about now, and definitely something that you can look for after you get comfortable here for a number of months.
I have to say there are still some exceptions for
There
the
are.
situations you mentioned, because one of our students have already contacted one of our faculties before he came here to be the faculty's research assistant after he is here. So basically, I would like to say if you have some interest in the assistantship program, that you can possibly contact the professors to see if he or she have any research assistant positions, or after, like Meredith said, after you get accustomed to the situation, you can apply for several teaching assistant for most possibly in the spring semester. And also there are also some like graduate assistant positions, and outside the school, there is a platform called Handshake for the Case Western Reserve University exclusively, that you can find many part-time on-campus positions for students to apply. So there are tons of part-time positions around the program.
Yeah, I think it's important in the first semester you focus on your classes. Yeah, because I think that's how if you do well in the classes, then the faculty member will ask you as a teaching assistant.
Right.
So the first semester you need to kind of focus on your classes, do well, make sure that your faculty members knows you, they know that you are good, and then that leads into maybe a teaching assistantship in the next semester.
Right. For example, these two did not apply for anything. I never actually put a posting that I needed 2 graduate assistants for the program. I sought some information and received it, and then reached out to them and said, hey, it was recommended that you might be a good student to fit this type of position that I'm looking to fill. And I actually reached out to them to see if they were interested. And I had a couple people reply yes. They interviewed with me, and I chose these 2. So again, it's not necessarily what you find, it's how you behave. It's how successful you are in that first semester. So to everyone's point, your first priority, you come here, it is for your education. And that is the main thing we need you to focus on. So as long as you do that, and you just have yourself balanced as a very strong student that can handle other things like working with group projects and wanting to be involved, you're going to find that it'll be easier for you to find a position.
And one more thing to mention, that as an international student, I think you can only work at school.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, you do have some limitations. I think no more than 20 hours per week during the school week, and there are some restrictions based upon the visas and the international status. But yeah, that should be something worth noting. Until later on, then those rules kind of go away.
The only exception to that rule is if you've already studied in the U.S. for over a year.
Right. Then that's not an issue anymore. Excellent question. Anybody else? What other questions do you guys have? Okay. Oh, she got it. Can you go ahead?
I'm not sure if I did really get the director say. You mentioned that the 60-month program will be recommended. So I'm not sure. So it's recommended, right?
Yeah, I would do it if it was up to me. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
That's personal.
It's my opinion. Which
I know. I just want to make sure that the internship, we will be applying for the internship in spring. So the 60-month program will be, if I chose 60-month program, will I still be able to apply for the internship?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What, if it's
Yeah.
11-month or 16-month, you'll still be able to apply for an internship?
There's no restrictions on whether you can apply for an internship. There were just like some time availability for you to do the internship if you choose the 16-month program, which means you have a free, I would say free summer time for you to do the internship. Because if you are choosing the 11-month internship month, you will be graduating in May, which means that you have to like
use your OPT.
Yeah.
You would need to use your OPT. So the main difference for international students who are trying to find work long-term and stay in the US, the reason why I showed my bias and said yes, the 16-month might be a preference. You spread out your workload, okay, so you can focus on your studies as we've talked about, make sure you do well. It'll give you a little more time that second semester to split your workload as far as studying and searching for an internship, and then it'll give you the whole summer off still using your CPT versus using your OPT to work. And that's a benefit if you want to stay and work in the US long term. Right. The program is obviously a STEM program, which is a benefit to everybody. You'll get the additional 24 months. You can apply for the extension. But I look at it this way: as you're gaining an extra 3 months without having to use your OPT. So you can continue to go to school and use your CPT during the summer and gain 3 months of work experience. And the benefit, I think, would be twofold. You're getting the work experience and you're saving your OPT.
Right.
So you're more marketable when you graduate the program. The difficulty in 11 months, and it's been, people have been very successful the first 2 years, but I think some people have said afterwards, and the reason why we came out with the option of 16 months is that some people want a short program, which is a benefit to that, being done quickly. Others wanted more time here in the US and to gain work experience prior to hitting the market. So that's why you have the two options. Like I said, my focus with you guys here is to try to help you connect with industry for both internships, actually projects, and full-time placement. So for me, to make my life and your life easier, the 16-month spreads things out. It gets you experience, which you want, and it makes you more marketable to industry. But both are good options.
Yeah, it's really up to you. Like I said earlier, if you've signed up for one and you want the other option, just please email me before May, and I can switch it. But beyond that, you're just going to be like locked into that program. But we have some time if you want to contemplate which option is the best option for you to take.
I think there are pros and cons for both. If you have any questions, just reach out to us. If you are not sure, ask it. How will this program work versus how will this program work? So just, if you still are not decided, talk to any of us, send us an email, and we can kind of...
we can work with you more individually to make sure it's best for you.
And if you're an international student who's considering coming to the program and then moving back home to start your career right away, the 11-month might be a much better option for you. If you're looking to stay long-term or even short-term, meaning 3 to 5 years in the US, the 16-month might be. But as Kamlesh said, there's pros and cons to both. We're just trying to give you guys options so you have the best chance to succeed.
Awesome. What other questions do you guys have? All right. We've got Shane. Go ahead. Oh, Jingru? There we go.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have a question that I just submitted my deposit 3 days ago, and I can't find a place to submit my financial document for my I-20 process, and I want to ask where I can submit it.
So we have a new system called Teradata, and it's a whole new system. And so I right away I'm going to ask for your forgiveness and your patience as we are kind of working on this new system. We used to have the ability for students to upload their extra materials, like their financial documents, their supplemental materials, into the application. And we would take that information and send it to ISS, which is our International Student Services, and the ISS department would actually work on your I-20s and create the visa and contact you for shipment and payment and all that stuff. However, rather than having you guys go through admissions to then get to ISS, we're having it now go directly to ISS. So ISS should have, or will be very soon, sending you an email regarding that process. It usually can take a couple of days after your deposit is confirmed. So for example, you said you submit your deposit on 3 days ago. If that was Friday, that was not even barely a business day ago. So give us a few business days to verify your deposit. We send that information at the deposit to ISS, that like confirmation, and then they should be able to email you and let you know what the next steps are. So it's through a system called Teradata. So take a look for that email. I always stress, especially if you're international, again, we know Google doesn't function well in China. So constantly check your spam folders, look for @case.edu emails or anything like that, just to make sure you didn't overlook something by mistake, because that's very possible. But it might be a little bit too soon for you, but you should get that email very soon. And then so everyone knows that eventually then ISS will contact you. You'll submit their forms to the Teradata system immediately. This system will allow you to actually track the status of your I-20 much closer than before. It used to be where you guys would email me or call us and say, hey, where's my I-20? I've been waiting a couple of weeks. And I would have to then verify with ISS, get back to you. Now you can actually see it. So it's a little bit easier for you, a little bit more of a open idea that you can watch the process yourself. But keep in mind, just for everyone who has gone through the process or is going to go through the process, it can still take 3 to 5 weeks to issue the I-20, simply because it's a very lengthy process, and everyone needs their I-20 now. But we will always get it out on time. Everyone gets their I-20. If you are a summer start date, your I-20 is prioritized, so you'll get that sooner than if you're a fall start date. So if you're a fall start date person right now, honestly, you have nothing to worry about. Just wait for the email, upload the documents, and sit back and relax. It's going to take some extra time to get to your specific documents, but we will get through the process. So again, it could be just a few more days for you to wait, but you will, let's put it this way, if it's been a couple of weeks since you made a deposit and you still haven't gotten an email, definitely reach out to me and I'll see what we can do.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Excellent question. I know that's a concern for a lot of students. Boha, I know you had a question too. You still have your question?
Yeah, so like Randall says, that's what's surprising is that there's the small classes of the program, and I want to know how many like students in each session, like in summer session and in the fall session. What's the exact number of the students?
So even though we have 2 different start dates, the summer session, which is going to be a little bit smaller, the fall start date has a higher demand right now. We're not really separating the 2 programs. We're going to combine them. Just one group will start a little bit sooner than the others. And like I said, the classes will be spread out. So because of the way that the program kind of is separate but the same at the, together at the same time, we're actually able to grow the class size a little bit. So your classroom size may vary. It could be 10 people, it could be 30 people. It just depends, but we're looking to grow the class size a little bit. It's kind of still up in the air. We're still thinking between maybe 30 to 40 students, but we're also getting a very large volume of very strongly qualified students this year, which is very exciting for us. So what we've actually started doing is growing our mentorship program to kind of match the demand that we're starting to see from our students. So for example, this event that we talked about on Thursday and Friday, we've asked a lot of new people to join us and ask them if now they've experienced what we're doing for our students, would you like to be a mentor? And we have some that are saying, yes, we want to be a mentor. So if we have a demand for more mentors, that also means we can provide more seats for more students because everyone can still have an individual mentor. We don't ever want to go beyond a capacity where there's one mentor for 20 students. That's crazy. So we're kind of listening to the marketplace. We're listening to the job market out there, how many openings are available, how many, what kind of qualifications do we need to find our students to have before they take these jobs. So all of these different elements are telling us to grow the class size a little bit. So right now, like I said, we're not quite sure exactly where we'll land. We do know we're going to grow it beyond the 20 or the 18 that we've had in the past. But I would say between 30 and 40, but the class sizes could vary because of the 2 different start dates.
I think with the 2 different start dates, you will still take most of the classes together.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So
not all of them, but most of them. Yeah. So that's why some of the classes might be much smaller, and some of them you might kind of it's almost like you have 2 cohorts in one class. You know, if you have the summer and the fall come together for one particular class, but I don't know. This is the first year we've started a fall start date option because we're listening to the students. As we mentioned, you know, some people want to stay longer, so we open this option. And now that it's become such a popular demand, this is kind of an experiment for us. We're kind of interested in knowing where this is going to land, but we'll keep the class size relatively small, but we will extend it just a little bit.
Okay.
Excellent.
And,
what other questions do you guys have?
More questions.
Oh, you do? Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Do you have any courses related to the machine learning? Like, do you learn Python in any courses? These 2 questions here.
You asked about Python?
What was the first one that you said?
Machine learning. I think you do in Jagdeep's class a little bit of machine learning, right?
A little bit.
Can you talk?
Yeah, so we basically don't have a specific machine learning class or courses that would like provided in the engineering school, but we do get in touch with some machine learning algorithm and data mining algorithm during our marketing analytics course, which enables you to see how the industry is applied the fancy machine learning algorithm to the real business practice. I think which is more valuable for students who are interested in analytics, because we are not a data science program. So I believe that this is our focus on how to use machine learning and data mining.
Right. So we don't have a standalone course in machine learning, but as a part of marketing analytics course, they do get exposure to machine learning. Yeah. And your other question was about Python, you said? Mm-hmm. So again, and that's why we emphasize that for the first semester, you focus on your courses, because in our program, beside your coursework, you do a lot of things outside, besides the classroom kind of. So for Python as well as SQL, we have workshops, which are almost like a course kind of. So in this year, in the fall semester, we had about a 6-week workshop in SQL, and the spring you just finished
6 weeks
on Python.
It's just similar to a course. You have professor, you have lecture, you have homeworks. Yeah.
But the nice thing that's different from the course, you don't pay for these. These are an added extra that we have added to the program to enhance your skill set, to make you more marketable, and to learn new programs. So, and they're taught by a man who is the CEO
of CTO of Etsy.
CTO at Etsy. So we have a very good resource here in learning, and just another person you can learn from that is connected to industry as well.
So I think that's why I think beside the program, you will see that we do a lot of things outside the regular classroom activities, kind of workshops, events with industry people, kind of, a lot of seminars, kind of.
Yeah, and anything extra outside of the class, I mean, these are all things, like I said, we cover those costs, so we don't pass them on to you. So these are things that you can take advantage of to enhance your skill sets. And I highly encourage you to take advantage of them, because as we've briefly mentioned about earlier, you're going to learn more things like in focusing on those soft skills that maybe can't necessarily be taught in the classroom, but can definitely be focused and enhanced within the class and in these workshops, and doing more interactions and networking. I mean, if you didn't take this workshop, you may never know this industry leader from Etsy, you know, and that could be an advantage for you to take, you know, this workshop and go further as a connection with him or her, you know. So definitely things that we do beyond the classroom for all of our students here.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We still got about 15 minutes left. Anybody else have any questions? All right, go ahead. Dingy?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, my voice is not so clear. I'm a little sick these days, so can you understand me?
Yes, you're fine. You're fine.
Actually, I have a question about do you have some recommendation about some preparation we can do before the start of the program? Actually, we still have several months before the start of the program, so I wonder what kind of preparation we can make to for the program. So
why don't you have like
answer.
Basically, personally, I would say it's a little bit abstract, but go find your interest in the analytics world, because we have so many different directions from this world. Because somebody would like to do market analytics, somebody would do data analytics, someone would do data scientists, and somebody even would do consulting. So I would like to say, go try to have different. You can look into different seminars, different articles to see what interests you the most. And this is the abstract part. For the technical or something like more tangible things, I would like to say, if you have some time, you can go to do some programming courses or some statistics courses on the website, on the internet. And what else?
Yeah, like Randall says, I recommend you to learn some more statistics, kind of like class. And also, if you are worried about the programming skills, you can do some programming languages.
I recommended you to do some SQL,
yeah,
which is very easy for the new the green hand to learn, because Python and R have many, like they're very huge to learn. So if you are SQL is a good start, then you can get in touch with the programming language, and it is very, very, very useful during the internship. And also the statistical part, I feel like maybe you can improve your theoretical part rather than the programming part, because you have to understand how this algorithm works and how to interpret them rather than how to apply them. For example, like you have to understand the principle of logistic regression rather than how to use it. So I feel like the theoretical statistic is something that you can improve or prepare during your time now.
Yeah, I think just to follow up, yeah, I think so in our program, we rely heavily on your mathematical skills. So like review calculus, review statistics. And if you had not had any programming course, take any basic programming course, not to learn a particular language, but to think like a programmer. The programming requires different kind of thinking. So if you had a prior course, then you know how to do it. Just review it. If you did not have any programming course, there are a lot of online help. Okay? Yeah. Take any basic programming course, any language, doesn't matter. Okay? You will learn Python once you come here. You will learn R once you come here. Okay? But just get a basic, like how you think like a programmer, because that's a very different thinking.
I would say my personal opinion, obviously I'm not in the classroom, I don't teach you guys, But one thing that I want to kind of tell you now is depending upon if you're planning on arriving in summer or fall, make sure you give yourself time to get here and get settled. So I know this is a little bit of a different conversation than what we're talking about in the classroom. But for example, the summer start date is the 5th of July. And you really want to try to aim to get here at least a week to 2 weeks before that date, only because jet lag is terrible, guys. If you travel internationally, you probably know this, or you will discover that jet lag is very, very difficult, and you need a couple days to recover from that already.
More than a couple of days.
More than a couple of days.
I think the rule of thumb is 1 day for each hour.
Oh boy.
So that 12 hours means 2 weeks.
Okay, well then 2 weeks. But you want to give yourself time, not just to recover from jet lag, but if you haven't done it already, find an apartment, maybe a roommate, get comfortable with the city. Cleveland, it is not the biggest city in the US, but it's a big enough city that you want to kind of get comfortable with your surroundings and find out where you can go to eat, where you can go grocery shopping. Do you need to get a car? Do you not need to get a car? Do I need to get a state ID? Do I need to get a bank account? All of those things. We do help you when you get here for orientation to learn a little bit more about those details. But getting here, you want to give yourself time to kind of get comfortable on your own and find your own ground. That part also for fall, usually you want to give yourself a couple weeks before orientation. So that's probably second week or first week of August I would aim for. So just keep that in mind. And then my other final nugget would be if you are if English is not your first language, continue to practice it. You will find that even having a TV on in the background, or a movie that's in English, or a radio or something like that, that you can subconsciously listen to would help rather than nothing at all. Maybe pick up some English news articles, music would be great. Doing little things like that, even practicing with friends, family, if you can, will help you. It's always a struggle to find a job no matter what, but the more you can improve your English skills, especially as an international student, will kind of put you a little bit ahead of someone else who maybe doesn't take the time to refine their skills in another language. So I would say practice as much as you can on your spoken and listening skills for English as well.
Okay, and then I'll have a different perspective than most here. So when you get here, you'll want to get to know people, and we use the term in the US, networking. I would suggest prior to leaving your home country, connect with people who are your classmates. I don't know how many of you are currently using LinkedIn. If you use the service LinkedIn, you may all look at me and say, what's that? If not, take a look at it and start a profile at least. Try to connect with some of your current classmates. If you've worked over the summer at a company, especially a large company, I would connect with the human resource person there, because quite often students I've worked with in the past who are at large companies like Nielsen or Bosch, or you need a large company that may have a subsidiary or another business unit here in the United States. We've had people from Cummins work in China and then get an opportunity based on a recommendation from a coworker here in the US. So try to make those connections. LinkedIn is a great tool we're going to use when you're here. So like I said, if you haven't started to use it, start a profile and connect with some of your current classmates. If you've worked last summer, connect with the people that you've worked with. It's a great place to start, because when you come here, your first semester, as we said, you're going to focus on your studies. But in the background, you'd like to start making connections. We're going to kind of force that with the connections that we're doing here, the program with the mentorship program. You'll work with MBA students occasionally, MSOR students, and other programs. So you'll get to know other people. You'll build that network. That's going to be important if you decide to stay and work in the US. So you might as well start this summer when you have some downtime.
And one thing to draw. Be sure to be quick to find an apartment, because those good apartments around campus are really heated. So make sure you apply them first, even before you find a roommate. Yeah, I would like to say that, because they are really so hard to apply. If you decided to deciding to get a car, then the place, it doesn't matter after that. Yeah.
You guys got the housing guide, right?
Yeah.
Have you sent it to anybody?
No,
Okay, we have this housing guide that a third party creates like for us, which is really, really awesome. So it's not biased by us whatsoever, but it's a wonderful, very colorful, very clear housing guide. So for you students who haven't even thought of where to look for housing, don't worry, you still have time, but you don't want to take your time on it once you get closer to the time that you'll arrive. So, you know, our students, Rando and Jenny, have this housing guide. They can forward it to you, so feel free to reach out to them, or for me, we can send it to you. It'll be sent to you at a later date anyway. It's just a little bit too early to consider housing, but it is obviously a concern. We'll help you take care of that. If you don't even know where to start, we'll give you some guidance. Excellent. So we have about 5 minutes left. These are excellent questions, guys. I'm really happy with the conversation. I'm hoping that it answers a lot of concerns that all of you have. But we have time for maybe one more question. Does anyone else want to chip in? All right.
No, then you muted it. You muted her.
Oh.
No,
you muted her.
Yeah.
I thought I had unmuted her. Go ahead. Hi.
Hi, could you hear me? Okay, yeah. I'm so sorry that this is my first time to use the Zoom, so I don't know, I don't realize that my Chinese name has shared to you, and my, you know, my Chinese name is Chen Yue Cao, and you can call me Fiona, and please forgive me. And I want to ask something about life. You know, the Cleveland is famous for its orchestra, and Cleveland Orchestra, and I'm a big fan of music. So I want to ask that, and how often could I attend the Cleveland Orchestra, and as Weatherhead students have a discount for its yes. tickets? Oh, that's it. So thank you so much.
The building is right across the street.
I would say that the most interesting for me to come to find in Cleveland, because we have the students club for the Cleveland Orchestra. It's like $30 per year, so it's very, very cheap, and we can
I'm jealous of that. I wish it was cheap for me.
And we can get almost every free ticket on. We have like about 6 or 7 orchestra every month, so we almost can get we can get free tickets on every orchestra.
Yeah, it's so amazing how wonderful the Cleveland Orchestra is at Severance Hall. It's a beautiful facility. I'm not kidding. It's right across the street. It's beautiful. You can go look at that anytime. As he said, free. I mean, it's a low cost for the whole year, and essentially you get tickets like all sorts of tickets for all types of events. And that's just one of many, many like community things here. Also across the street is the Cleveland Art Museum, which is free. You can go for free, have lunch there, go walk around, explore the art. That's the second best art museum in the entire country that we have right here. We have the Cleveland Botanical Gardens, the Natural History Museum, the Modern Museum, the Museum of Contemporary Art. Those are all literally within a block from this place. You have 4 museums right there, plus Severance Hall. Downtown Cleveland is 5 miles away. It's a quick bus ride or a car ride. You've got all 3 sports teams. So yes, LeBron James is down the street playing with the Cavaliers, the Indians, our Browns, our football team, our Indians, our baseball team. You have the Cleveland Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You've got shopping, West Side Market, Theater District. We have the second largest theater district next to Broadway. Yeah, so we've got a lot of things that are amazing here. If you want to go hiking outside, or if you want to go to the lake or the marina or the aquarium or the zoo, national parks. I could go on and on. If you want to gamble, we've got casinos. Want to bet on races or on horses, we've got racetracks. We have a casino night here on campus for our students, which is so much fun. I love our casino night. We've got so much for you here, and so much of it is free, not even just for students, but they're free for our community members here in the Cleveland area. I always say this, and people hear me say it all the time. If you're ever bored in Cleveland, you're doing something wrong. There is always something to do here in Cleveland. I'm a Cleveland native. Obviously, I'm talking about my hometown. I'm so proud of where I've come from, and I know Cleveland is just getting better and better, but there's always something to do here. And I know if you're a fan of the Cleveland Orchestra like I am, you will love coming to Severance Hall and hearing them perform. It's just a beautiful facility and a fantastic orchestra.
And as Meredith mentioned, a lot of this is free. The stuff that is not, the university offers discount tickets.
Even Cavs tickets
Sure.
sometimes.
Yeah, the Cleveland Indians, the Cavs, there'll be offers for that. There'll be offers for a lot of the different plays that are in the area. So throughout the year, our student experience office will take care of that. They'll send out emails. It's usually first come, first serve, but discounts are as much as 50% off. So it's significant.
Yeah, it just depends on what your interest is. And if you don't see something that you're interested in, just ask around. For example, we have a lot of student clubs here on campus, and some of them are strictly affiliated with Weatherhead. Some of them are just campus affiliated. Like, for example, we have an operations club. We have our student body, what is it, GBSA? What's it stand for? Graduate students. Thank you. I can never remember. I can barely get the letters out. We have the, all these different clubs, investment clubs and wine club. And one of our students realized that we didn't have one about cars. So last year he started his own car club, and now he's in his second year and he has this car club, Jason. So he started something he didn't see that we had, and now we have it. So anything that you want to do, we either have it or you can help make it happen. So we'll give you the tools that you need to be successful in all of your extracurricular activities.
I say one last thing I'll mention as far as convenience to where you're located here at Weatherhead. Quite often your focus is studying and classes, but there's a lot of places to eat as well located. We have the Uptown area, which is very close. A lot of nice restaurants, some great options the students seem to be liking and enjoying. Right across the street, I think 3 years ago, we opened up our undergraduate student center. There's 4 or 5 restaurants and there are options for you to eat as well. It's literally right across the street, so you can run over there and come back in between classes. So it's fairly convenient where we're located.
Yeah, you have everything from your $5 meals to fine dining. So, if your mom and dad come to visit and you want to take them to a nicer place, we have lots of nice facilities on campus too. So anything you can imagine, we have it here.
Okay, so it's so fantastic and terrific. So I'm very excited to join you. Thank you so much.
You're excited.
I'm very excited. Yeah.
So thank you guys so much. It's now 10 o'clock over where we are, so we've come to the end of our hour. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope we got a chance. Yeah, well, I hope we had a chance to answer your question. If we didn't, if we missed your question or you didn't think about it or you have it later, please know you can reach out to any of us here. If you have a specific question for Professor Mather or Matt or Jenny or Rando, feel free to email me. If you don't have their contact, I'll pass it on to them. That's no big deal. Sharon as well. Thank you, Sharon, for joining us. We appreciate your input and your help with our students. All in all, guys, we're very excited to have you join us. No question is ever left unanswered. Just you need to ask it, and we'll help you out. But we're going to have probably more webinars as every month or so until we kind of get to a stopping point. So we'll hope to meet you guys once again in the future. Until then, have a pleasant day, a pleasant evening, and we look forward to talking with you guys soon.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Bye.